happy you can be here, and I look forward to being your next United States Senator here in Florida. I'm glad to be here. Once again, I want to thank all of you for everything that you've done. My good friend Debbie Wasserman Schultz just walked in, and we were not only a supporter of my campaign, but a very, very good friend. We were knocking on doors just a couple of days ago. I had a conference call with the Democratic Executive Committees just before I walked in throughout the state of Florida. And I talked about where we are right now. We're in a get out the vote mode right now. We're in the knocking on the doors of our neighbors right now. We're in the calling all of our friends and getting them out to vote. And then once they think it's all over, we call them again in 5 minutes and say we really meant it. I think it's very, very important to know that it's some very dangerous things that are going on out there as it relates to misinformation. Now, I can tell you, I'm very encouraged by what I see in more and more Democrats getting out to vote. That gap is being closed. That was originally a wide gap. Now it's closing. And we have to continue to close that gap. And last night we had our last debate for the United States Senate. And I will tell you this, I told them there at that debate, I didn't stutter, I said, you doggone right I'm a Democrat. And I'm proud of it. And then, you know, like I said, and, you know, what's David's name? Gregory, yeah, Debbie knows, she's on Meek the Press a lot. You know, David said, well, Kendrick, you know, you vote with Democrats 98% of the time. How do you think Floridians feel about that? I said, well, if it's about making sure that there's a federal law that women make the same as men and for doing the same job, then I guess I'm a Democrat. If it's against offshore oil drilling and voting in a way so that these corporations and special interests don't take over, then I guess I'm a Democrat. If it comes down to making sure that we have health care in this country where seniors are not cutting pills in half, and insurance companies and special interests no longer serve as a casino when it comes down to health care, saying that they can never lose, I guess I'm a Democrat. When it comes down to a woman's right to choose, I guess I'm a Democrat and voting on the Democratic side. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm here. I said it on statewide television yesterday when Democrats, Independents, and Republicans could hear me. And that's the kind of leadership we must have. Now, I know many of you, when I walked in saying, Kendrick, I've already voted for you. You don't even have to go shake someone else's hand. Well, let me just say this. I'm glad and I'm pleased that you've done it. But I need you to be able to multiply your vote by going out and talking to people about this campaign. This race is not over. The election is not over. The combination of Rick Scott and Marco Rubio being elected in this state is very dangerous. Very dangerous. I heard someone use the word scary. That's exactly what it is. These are two ultra-conservative, right-wing candidates that are saying they're right-wing candidates as you know, right now. So when they get elected, that's exactly what you're going to get if we allow it to happen. I'm not willing to do that, and I know you're not willing to do that. And that's the reason why I'm working throughout this state. That's the reason why, you know, I'm in constant contact with Alex Singh. That's the reason why I continue to knock on doors with Debbie. That's the reason why I did 14 radio shows this morning before 10 a.m. this morning, getting the vote out, letting folks know of the importance of this race. I want to get Floridians back to work. I want to make sure seniors are protected in Social Security. Last night, it was saying, well, I guess Marco Rubio has the only plan for Social Security. Yeah, he has a plan for Social Security, but it's the wrong plan for Social Security. Starting to move the goalposts on individuals that are 55 and younger is not fair, especially when you're calling for tax cuts for companies that ship jobs overseas and the super wealthy in this country when we are in a deficit situation. So I just want to say this, Democrats, for everything that you do, everything, from registering voters to going and driving people out to the polls, to giving them information about who they should vote for. I want you to feel very encouraged and let it be known that they have a strong candidate in me. Someone that will stand up not only for seniors, but for our children, and know what it means to stretch. Folks say, well, you know, Kendrick, I'm just talking third party just for the purposes of the conversation, well, what I'm sharing with you here today. How do you feel? I mean, you're not necessarily first in the polls. You know something? My entire life I've been down in the polls. Debbie can tell you, because we fought together. She's been elected, I think, going on 18 years. I'm 16 years. When I got there, she already had her fist balled up and fighting in the legislature. We've always fought ourselves up the hill. It's never been a downhill effort. And that's the reason why we have smaller class sizes in the state of Florida. That's the reason why Debbie and I and Tim Ryan and a number of young Turks in Congress stopped George W. Bush, was a part of the team, along with you, from privatizing Social Security. We know what it means to fight. And Floridians every day feel like they're down in the polls. And they need someone who's going to fight for them. Now I only have one thing to say about both of my opponents, and then I'll leave you with something positive. Marco Rubio should not be elected as our next United States Senator. Charlie Crist last night, for the 45th time, has asked the question, who are you going to caucus with if you hypothetically become the next United States Senator? And again, he did not answer the question. He was asked the debate before the last debate, 4 days ago, I think on Sunday morning. Well, if you were 10 points up in the polls, would you have left the Republican Party? He said yes. Now, let me tell you something. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. And I can tell you right now, that kind of political trickery is not the kind of leadership we need. So I close with this, to say that you know that I'm a leader, and you know that I'm going to fight for you. And you know that I'm going to work all the way to the end on Tuesday Central Standard Time at 7 o'clock. And I need you to grab every piece of literature back there on that table. People should be looking for literature. Leaving out of here tonight, grabbing every yard sign that you can grab and get it out in the field. I came over here tonight and I was on a call with those Democratic leaders, and I was behind a car as I was making a left turn on University. And I saw a sticker. It said, had one of the candidates, or the candidate that was running against Ron Klein. And I said, you know something? We must make sure that every piece of literature that we have out in the field, if you have a yard sign, put another one in your neighbor's yard. If you have a bumper sticker on your car, you put one on a second car in your neighbor's car, because we must create the kind of enthusiasm of a political emergency. Because that's what we have right now. We have a political emergency in the state of Florida, and we have to make sure that the right people get elected. So thank you so very much for allowing me to speak to you. Maybe my last time speaking to you prior to Election Day, but we're going to do everything that we can possibly do to get the vote out. I have done, Democrats, everything that I could possibly do to be the best candidate to represent you, qualifying by petition, going out and making sure that we beat a billionaire against the odds with your help, putting on a great campaign in the general election, bringing national figures to the state of Florida that has helped not only me but other Democrats promote their campaign, and continuing to drive the vote out all the way to Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Barbara, thank you so very much for allowing me to speak. I look forward to